Hello guys, I am on lesson 8-7 and I am on the solve and share. This time it is called multiply mixed numbers. So we're going away from just the fraction multiplication. We're still doing fractions, we're still doing multiplication. However, this time we're adding whole numbers into the mix too so that we have mixed numbers. So little different what we're going to do, but if you've been okay with the multiplication, which I think most of you have, I think this is going to be just as easy for you. So the solve and share problem says, look at the ingredients needed to make Josie's special pancakes. How much pancake mix and milk will you need if you want to double the recipe and then to triple the recipe? Solve this problem any way you choose. So they said, generalize. How can you use what you know about multiplying fractions to help you multiply mixed numbers? So the first thing I need to do is I'm going to look at the pancake mix. So for the pancake mix, she needs 2 1/4 cups. That's the pancake mix. We'll say PM. And then they also want to know about the milk. So for the milk, she needs 1 2/3 cups. That's the milk. So a couple things we need to know here. First, they want to know about doubling, and then they want to know about tripling. So if I start with my pancake mix, I know that if I were to do addition, I would just do to double 2 1/4 plus 2 1/4. I have common denominators already, so I can do 2 plus 2 is 4. 1/4 plus 1/4 is 2/4, and that can be simplified down to 4 1/2. So I know my answer has to be 4 1/2. One of the things that you can do, even though they are asking us to multiply, if I know another method that I can use, such as addition, I can do that as a means to check my work. So now I'm going to take that same thing and I'm going to do multiplication this time. So 2 1/4 times 2, if I'm doubling, I can do one of two things here. So the first thing I can do is I can actually take this 2 1/4 and I can turn it into an improper fraction. If you remember when we did the improper fractions before, I briefly showed you, I know that the whole is 4. So 4/4 would be 1, 8/4 would be 2, but then I already had one more, which means I have 9/4. The quicker way to do it though is to just say 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9. That's where I get my 9/4 from. Once I have 9/4, which again is the same as 2 1/4, I can just do times 2, and I'm just going to throw a 1 under there, so it's 2 over 1, which gives me 18/4. 18/4 still improper, so I would simplify that down. I know that 4 times 4 is 16, so we know we have 4 wholes, and then I have 2 left over from the 18. 18 minus 16 is 2/4, and then I can still simplify this down to 4 1/2. That was my original answer when I did my addition. So again, one method that I can use is to turn my mixed number into an improper fraction first. If you don't want to do that, there's another option that you can do also here. And I'm going to leave it up to you to what you decide you want to do, which way you find easier. So I can keep my 2 1/4 as a mixed number, and I can do my times 2. So this time I'm going to do my multiplication of my whole numbers first. So I'm going to do 2 times 2 gives me 4. And then I'm going to do 1/4 times 2. So 1/4 times 2 over 1 is 2/4. That gives me my 4 2/4, or 4 1/2. So you see, regardless of which method I use, I'm still getting the same answer of 4 1/2. Okay, so that was if I doubled the recipe. So if I double the pancake mix, I'm going to need 4 1/2 cups. They also wanted to know if I triple my recipe. So I'm gonna get rid of all of this. And again, I'm not going to do the addition this time, but if you want to do the addition just to check yourself, you definitely can. But I'm going to do 2 1/4 times 3 this time. So again, turn my mixed number into an improper fraction first by doing 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9. So I get the same number, the same fraction that I did last time because the number's the same. This time I'm multiplying it by 3 over 1 instead. So I'm going to end up with 27, 9 times 3, 27, over 4. Then all I need to do is I need to decide how many 4s are in 27. So I know that 4 times 6 is 24, and I have 3 left. So if I triple the recipe, it would take 6 3/4 cups. So let's say if I triple, I need 6 3/4 cups. And then I'm going to do the same problem again. This time I am not going to use the improper fraction. This time I'm going to just multiply whole number by whole number. So I can say 2 times 3 is 6. 1/4 times 3, remember I put a 1 down there, 1 times 3 is 3, 4 times 1 is 4, I get the same answer. Okay, so that was, my doubled answer is 4 1/2, my tripled answer is 6 3/4. They want us to do the same thing now with the milk. So you might be able to just look at the milk and say, okay, if I know I double it, 1 doubled is 2, 2/3 doubled is 4 1/3, and then we're going to just simplify. So if I do 1 2/3 times 2, improper, 3 times 1 plus 2 gives me 5/3. Again, 3/3 makes 1 whole, so I have 1, that's 3/3. Plus 2, 5/3, times 2, 5 times 2, 10, 3 times 1, 3. I can get, 3 wholes, 9 was my answer. So 3 wholes out of that is 9, and 1 left over. So my answer is 3 1/3 if I double it. Okay, same idea without doing the improper fraction. 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 1 is 3. I can make 1 whole out of 4/3, brings me to 3 1/3, same answer. So that was the second way of doing it if I just wanted to double, but I didn't want to turn my number into an improper fraction. Okay, and finally, I'm going to take my 1 2/3 and I'm going to triple it this time. So I'm doing times 3. Improper fraction, 3 times 1, 3, plus 2, 5/3. This time I'm tripling. 5 times 3 is 15. 3 times 1 is 3. 15/3 is still improper, and I know that 5 times 3 is 15, so if I triple it, I would need 5 cups of milk. Okay, that's when I turn my mixed number into an improper fraction. If I leave my mixed number as is, and I just do my multiplication, whole number multiplication, 1 times 3, 3. 2/3 times 3, 2 times 3, 6. 3 times 1, 3. 6/3 is the same as 2 wholes. 3 wholes plus 2 wholes is 5 wholes. So if you see, it's really not that difficult. The only different thing that we're doing than what we did before is we're deciding if we want to turn our mixed number into an improper fraction, or if we want to just do the whole number multiplication first and then the fraction multiplication. Your choice. What I would like you to not do though, except if you're doing it for a check, I don't want you to get so that you're relying too much on addition, because remember, as this number goes up, you're not going to want to continue to add. So the addition is great with small numbers when you're just checking your work. But if I had this problem times 53, I don't want to have to add 1 2/3 53 times. It's not really something that I'm going to want to spend time doing. Okay, if we take a look down at the bottom, at our look back, it says, what number sentence can you write using repeated addition to show how much pancake mix is needed if the recipe is tripled? So we already did this when I showed you the first part where I did the addition. I only did it doubled though. So again, if the pancake mix requires 2 1/4 cups, and this time we're going to triple it, it's just 2 1/4. Tripled tells me to do it 3 times. That would be my number model. And again, 2 + 2, 4, + 2, 6, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So my answer, X equals 6 3/4. Okay, I am sure that that is probably going to be very easy for you. I see a lot of people are really becoming experts at the fraction multiplication. I am very proud of you for that. And you can see